Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to RWBY Ice Queendom, otherwise known as Hyousetsu Teikoku. Episode 2. That's another episode that has already aired, that already had a pre-screening, just like episode 1 did. Yeah, you probably are familiar with it if you've seen it. I'm not. I'm going into it completely blind, so in advance, I'm gonna ask you to not spoil me anything. Oh, there's also the original, the source material, the original web series. But from what I recall, from what I heard, after episode 3 of Ice Queendom, after essentially all the episodes that were pre-screened, we're gonna enter kind of sort of like a parallel story universe, or rather a show that is canon to the original, but the original isn't canon to this show. Kind of a reimagining of the original kind of sort of deal. That's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be interesting because again, I haven't seen the original, and when the time comes that I watch the originals, because I have already decided that I am going to do that, it's going to be interesting comparing what happened here and what happened in the originals. With all that out of the way, what happened in the previous episode? Well, we got an introduction to all of the main characters, to an introduction to the red, the white, the black, and the yellow, to all of the colors that make up the title. They don't know they're gonna be teammates yet, but we all know they are gonna be teammates. Some cool action, some like genuinely great action, great choreography, great mechanical designs, some really cool moments, but also the quality of the moments outside of the action scenes is kind of a little bit in a gutter, not gonna lie. Someone told me that it might be a little bit of a nod towards the original series, that the backgrounds, for example, being CG with just a shader on top of them, is something that was done in the originals. So perhaps it's actually a conscious artistic decision, the artistic direction they decided to go with. Doesn't mean I have to like them. No, for like CG backgrounds, they really look great, and you really not always can tell they are CG. Although here you can see the repeat of some of the buildings. But yeah, all in all, it's not the worst looking anime that I've ever seen. And the action scenes really make up for any deficiencies it might have. I'm just afraid that we might not have enough action sequences to justify the budget cuts for the rest of the series. But we'll see. We'll see about that. Uh, Ruby Rose got into the school completely out of nowhere. Essentially, she was admitted because because they met the principal, and now she can fulfill her dream of going to the school with her sister Yang, I believe, the yellow one. And of course, we have Weiss, the white one, who wanted to deny her parents, her upbringing, her father, and she wants to be a hunter, a huntress, and she wants to make a path for her own. She rebelled. That's very much the vibe I'm getting from what little we've seen, really, because we haven't seen particularly much about every character. Enough to set them up, but not enough to like put full backstories and full motivations into them. But we did get some glimpses, and of course the black one, Schwarz, I think. How else are we gonna call a black character than Schwarz? Yeah, Schwarz. I, damn, I think her name is Schwarz. I might be mistaken here. I might be just assuming things. I don't know. The black one is kind of an assassin, stealthy girl who made a raid on some train belonging to the Weiss family, if I'm not mistaken, with some other dude, And then she decided that, yeah, I don't want to get anything to do with it. You're a bad guy. You want to kill people. You believe in like Faunus supremacy. I don't want any of I don't want any of that. I want to be a huntress, and I want to go to school, and I want to be happy. And she got into the school. So now we have a team of 4 oddballs, as usual, who are going to be going for oddbally adventures. Maybe not around the world, but at least around the local area. I fully predict some school shenanigans. I fully predict maybe some tournament arc. Would be very on brand for the kind of genre we're going for. But again, I know absolutely nothing of what's going to happen. The only way I can know about it is if I watch this episode together with you guys. So, sound, subs. Oh, why was this blacked out? Yeah, subs. And we can start watching RWBY Ice Queendom episode 2, a version by Subsplease this time because Subsplease released it. So I didn't look for Irai Ross. I just grabbed Subsplease version. Should be mostly the same. They both are like web rips from Crunchy or whatever. So yeah, today we're gonna be watching the Subsplease version, and of course support. You can support the channel on Patreon, on Throne, or by just sharing my content. On Patreon in particular, you can vote in polls, you can get early access to non-seasonals, and so on. And with that, we can finally start watching the second episode of RWBY Ice Queendom in 3, 2, 1, go. Bacon Academy. I love how she still has the scar. Yeah, it's the Fortnite bus. Where are we dropping, boys? Already a bunch of oddballs who are more than likely gonna be our classmates. Perhaps a rival. The face of some cornflakes. And she probably won't live up to that name. Let's be honest. She's the protagonist, she has to be dumb. You can't allow her to grow into a Siscan. Oh, OP. Have you already seen the OP? I don't think so. No, we have not. And some other team, possibly rivals, possibly friends. We're spending a lot of time setting up the second group. An oddly large amount of time. Gauntlets. Always love me a good brawler. I'm not a huge fan of how muted the colors of this OP are. Okay, that was pretty much the only moment where we got some flash of color. Certainly an interesting choice of an art style for the OP. Everything monochromatic-ish, muted. The man with two souls. Blake, not Schwartz. Or is it Blake Schwartz? Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. The standoffish one. Of course, the gritty one, the grizzled veteran of combat. The cynic of the group. Yeah, your friends. Exactly what you heard. She's of the Schnee family. Yeah, Weiss Schnee. Well, used to be. They no longer are, though. She is a Faunus. And that's how they all became friends. Yeah, he's been drawn differently, so of course he's gonna move. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. You're destined for each other. You're the four biggest oddballs on this airship. Whomst? Oh, Glinda and the Ozpin. Oh, so they're not going to a school. They're being just para-dropped in some forest. Yeah, that's a bit. It's a bit intense for a school admission process. Well, you already know who you're gonna be who you're gonna be teaming up with. Those are pawns. Those are chess pawns. So I was correct. Where are we dropping, boys? Everybody's getting just mass-produced shitty weapons. Only the protagonists, the important people, are having their own weapons. Pirra. As in a Pyrrhic victory? If so, then that doesn't bode well for her. Jeanne d'Arc? Hmm. Fira from Pyrrhic Victory. Jean Arc from Jeanne d'Arc. Hmm. Interesting cast of characters. Probably not. There's about one brain cell in his head. That's what she's most known for. uh, don't you speak to my waifu. No, I have a feeling that Fira will team up with Jean. Okay, we're actually landing, not dropping. Bummer. I wanted to make some more Fortnite jokes. How convenient to have a cliff at the exact precise height. Ruby Rose, Jean Arc, Weiss Schnee. Is it a launcher? It is a launcher. So indeed, where we dropping, boys? If you don't survive the launch, well, tough shit. Who might you be? A big hat. Big hat witch. Of course. Of course. It's an initiation test in an anime. Of course it has to go tits up. I'm assuming Ruby, Yang, Blake, and Weiss are going to be the ones who take down the big, bad, scary Grim that isn't supposed to be here, but of course is here. How did that shoot help you stick the landing? There wasn't any force of recoil to that. Okay. That's another way to land. A spear user. Yeah, you're still a fair few meters from ground. Oh, Weiss. Hello. Does Pyrrha not need her spear? I guess we are teaming up. Grim? Dreamovision? Probably Blake. Just to subvert our expectation. I'm gonna show you slow. Whatever it is, yes. No, she's actually not. Grim? Grim. Okay, Yang and Blake are teaming up. And then they're gonna team up with RWBY and Weiss. Okay, that's a lot. Yeah, you need to learn how to cooperate, how to fight together. Go in separate directions, back to back, not front to front. Communication. Exactly. That's the basis of teamwork. The best dust money can buy. Also, you can put that fire out because you also have ice powers. Tension already. She's the protagonist. She needs those qualities to be a protagonist. She kinda does. Or at least she behaves like she does. I don't need to be perfect to be better than you. Okay, they're already at the temple. Whichever. Whomst? Oh, the Hammer Girl. Is this the big grim that the Hat Lady was wary of? Probably, because it seems to be shrugging off pistol shots. She's anything but safe. Whichever. She's gonna grab the horse, and since both of those teams grabbed a horse, they're gonna be merged into a single team. That's my prediction. A scorpion. Okay, a shield. And they're gonna grab a castle, so their two teams are gonna be connected. Yeah, I already see how it's gonna work. Yeah, she's right. Just bail. Oh, they're running in place. Oh, that's not great. That wasn't a great bit of animation. A grenade launcher. And a rifle. Okay. I love how every single one of them has a weapon that's both a gun and a melee. The guys that got weapons from the airship are really at a disadvantage, aren't they? Does his sword turn into a shield or his gun turn into a shield? She has a kama. That looked like a kama, but I thought she had a dagger. What's your plan? What about it? She's just Wonder Woman. Okay. A hammer and a nail. That's actually great. I'm actually loving it. I'm loving the variety in weapons and in fight styles. Okay, so it can be a kama, it can be a dagger, it can be a gun. Cool. Not gonna lie. Make it crash, and then do something imaginative to take care of it. Cause an avalanche or something? She's gonna ride her scythe like it's a magic broom. Okay. Show me some cool shit. A booster. And there we go. Ooh, okay, okay. Beheaded. Okay. I'm loving the action scenes. The hiding place? Fuck is a hiding place? I mean, I know what a hiding place is, but what is it in the context? Team Juniper. Okay, sure. Oh, Jean-Arc? I thought it's gonna be Pyrrha. Team RWBY. And RWBY is the leader. Okay, that's cool. Predictable, but cool. Juniper and RWBY. What's that on your neck? What's that on your neck, Weiss? Bad times ahead, aren't they? Also, what do they do when the names of every single person in a team starts with like a consonant? Juniper makes sense. RWBY, okay, makes sense. What if everybody's name starts with W and Z? Team. Team. I don't know. Visas? That was fun. Action scenes had just a little bit less fidelity than in episode 1, but are still cool. And I think what's gonna be the biggest draw to this series for me It's not necessarily the beauty of this series or anything. If I want beauty, I have you of Kashino Uta, so there's that. But the imagination, the imaginative use of weapons, the imaginative combat, because that's really something. That's really something. A nightmare comes, and another illustration. Okay. They're eating tomato pocky. Whatever floats your boat, I guess. Okay. How about we go through this episode again? How about we go through this episode again? Shall we? Start, pause, full screen. There we go. Yeah, as I said, probably the biggest draw to this series for me is gonna be the imaginative combat and the variety of weapons. There has been plenty of anime whose setup is a group of oddballs are teaming up and going to a magic academy, or rather going to a magic academy and then they're teaming up. But most of it is just like the same, over and over and over the same. Everybody has a sword and has magic, and a sword and a magic, and a sword and a magic, and maybe someone, some random teammate uses a spear or an axe. But that's about the extent of it. Besides that, everybody uses a fucking sword. I don't know what it is with manga, anime, and light novels and their fucking love for swords. Why the fuck is every single character in an anime using a sword? I know it's a default, but defaults aren't fun. Defaults just aren't fun. There's so many weapons. You could give, if you want something sword-ish, give them an Estoc. Why not? Give them a Zweihander. Why not? Give them a rapier, give them a saber. Why does it always have to be a fucking sword? Rant over. RWBY isn't doing this mistake. There's scythe, there is a rapier, there is some punching gauntlets, there is a knife slash kama, I think, if I saw things correctly. In the other team, we have a warhammer, we have a spear and a shield. That's super cool. We have a sword and a shield. That's super cool because we're straying away from the default of a sword by giving the dude a shield as well. And the green dude is using like double pistols that also, I don't know what's their melee form, but it's probably something maybe like twin kamas or a sword and a dagger or a sword breaker or something like that. I don't know. I haven't seen that yet. And even if someone is to be using just a generic regular sword, that sword can always turn into a fucking gun. So that automatically makes that sword cooler. At least 20% cooler. Yeah, that's gonna be, I think, the main drive for me to be watching RWBY. To see the imagination here, to see something different, something new, something fresh. After a constant deluge, or however you pronounce it, of Magic Academy with swords and magic, we're getting something fresh. And even if the art style can be kind of bottom of the barrel at times, that all can be forgiven. Fresh crop of new students arrives at Beacon Academy. That's plenty of students. Not many of them made it to the forest. Students will be split into teams. Yeah. I'm gonna like the both of them, I can already see. And I thought they're gonna be like rival teams. But nobody seems like a bad person here. Team Juniper doesn't seem like rivals. Okay, they do seem like rivals, but friendly kind of rivals. right? A friendly competition. I like it. I like it because very often, again, in like a Magic Academy setting, you have a pure antagonist, right? Some antagonistic person or an antagonistic group that's constantly scheming and working against the main cast. If the main cast is having some issues, and oh no, the antagonistic team just caused an avalanche or dragged some monsters into their direction to, uh, I don't know, to make them lose the competition or something. You very often see that. Doesn't seem to be the case here, at least not quite yet, and I don't think it's gonna be the case because again, seems genuinely nice, and it's kind of refreshing because we do have the threat, we do have the antagonists of the series, we do have the Grimm. Do you really need more? Do you really need people infighting when you have a universal threat to humanity? You don't. You really don't need the additional drama of interpersonal clashing, right? But hey, it can go all sorts of ways. I have no way of predicting that. Maybe we're gonna get a human antagonist. Maybe we aren't. Maybe some other group is gonna be introduced. I doubt it because everybody else on this airship looks like just a regular NPC. I don't see any other group being formed from those people, but hey, anything can happen. It's an airship, not a bus. It's an Airbus. Airbus is an actual thing, though. I guess it's an Airbus. It's a futuristic, fantastical Airbus. Pumpkin Pits. Her biggest role is at the box of cereal. Also, I like the themes around them. Around Pyrrha. Again, Pyrrhic victory, Pyrrhus, the Greek, I believe, hero, and she's themed after Greece. Her hairstyle, her headband, her armor, the fact that she's using a buckler with a notch and a spear, that's a very Greek set. And Jean d'Arc is clearly named after Jean d'Arc and has a very medieval style to him, right? Medieval armor, a kite shield. No, it's not a kite shield. Yeah, like a regular shield, the kind that you see decorative on a wall, and a sword. Very thematic. Everybody here is thematic. I like it. Yeah, we have Little Red Riding Hood. We have, I believe, Goldilocks. Yang is modeled after Goldilocks. Weiss is, I believe, someone told me, like Snow White. And Blake is someone else. I forgot. Sleeping Beauty? Probably not. Yeah, all sorts of mythological and fairy tale characters. I like it. I like the clear thematic theme, I guess, to the characters. Yeah, you can't keep Ruby. You can't let Ruby keep being a Siskin. That's a very interesting choice for the OP, for the style. Everything is either very bleak, very washed out, or entirely monochromatic and washed out. It's some moments of this OP are visually appealing, but that's only because they were visually appealing in the episode itself that they're taken from. Uh, Elements like this, it's all washed out. It's really not visually appealing. I don't know who made the decision to make the OP be this, but I have to question that decision. Also, it's all just shots from the anime, it seems. From episodes 1 and 2. Yeah, there's so much color in the anime itself, right? The red petals after Ruby uses her apparition, or whatever the fuck it's called, semblance. There is like really a lot of color to the characters. Very vibrant red, vibrant yellow, vibrant purple, vibrant red again on Weiss. Right? The whole anime is so vibrant, so alive. And the OP is just bleak. It really doesn't fit what this anime is setting off to be. It's setting off to be that dynamic, fun, funny at times adventure of completely, cool characters and cool stories and cool fights and cool animation and cool choreography and all that. And even the music is very dynamic, right? There is a lot going on. The melody is very fast, the rhythm is very fast, and you have the visuals of the OP look like, when sometimes an anime does it, like one of the main characters, for example, dies in an anime, and they have a special ED because their usual ED is very fun, very boppy, and it doesn't fit the death of a character. So they're putting a filter on top of the ED, and they're adding some slow ballad music instead of the usual ED, right? You know that this is what this OP feels like to me visually. It's an OP you have after a main character just died in the previous episode, or died right before the OP. So you don't want to go with a super vibrant, super dynamic OP. You don't want to break the uh, you don't want to break the mood of complete bleakness and loss of hope, loss of a very important character, and that kind of stuff. So you put a filter on top of your OP, and you add some ballad instead of a dynamic, funny, fun music. Yeah, it really doesn't. The visuals of the OP really don't fit thematically. This is the only shot that does. This is the only shot that actually has some color to it. I could maybe see what could have been done. Right? Keep the entire OP like dark and bleak, and then whenever a main character appears, have them appear in color to create a little bit of a contrast between the bleak world and the characters that don't get the bleakness get to them, that are still vibrant and happy and are fighting for the future of humanity. You could have done that, but as it is, I really don't get why they made the decision to put this drab ass filter on top of it all. I really don't get it. But yeah, enough about that. I'm sorry I called her Schwarz, but the white one is called Weiss, so it stands to reason that I would think the black one is called Schwarz. Forgive me. Her name is Blake, of course. Blake Belladonna. Belladonna Blake. I thought she's gonna be much more standoffish. The real world isn't the same as a fairy tale. Yeah. Oh, yes, I'm having a nice time, and it's gonna be much better when you disappear from my sight. I just wanna be left alone and keep brooding. Uh, that was my expectation for her character, but I'm positively surprised. I'm gonna be honest. White Fang's involvement in a series of dust robberies. Schnee Dust Company, industry leader in the dust trade, considering fortifying its security division and increasing precautions. And of course, the proprietress, the heiress of the company, doesn't want to let her company be badmouthed, but I'm assuming she's not exactly privy to what's going on at her company, and I can very easily see that being a theme of like a mini arc or like a full arc, even a full character arc, when she learns that her papa's company isn't all that great after all. There actually is some corruption, there actually is some fighting, they actually might be encroaching onto the Faunus territories, and she just doesn't know about that. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and oh no, uh, are we the baddies? Is my family the baddies? I can very easily see that being a character moment for Weiss that I'm sure she's gonna emerge out of stronger. That really seems like a very formative thing to go through as a character. I can very clearly see that being the case. Swallowing every lie, the anti-human Faunus and their low-life group of thieves the White Fang are feeding you. I don't think all of the Faunus are anti-human. It's just the Fang. Thing is, you only see the Fang in the media. You don't see the Faunus that are just living peacefully in their villages because it's not newsworthy. So you just see the White Fang, and you get a skewed perception of what all the Faunus are. That's how it works. That's how media works. That's just the reality of even our world. It really hits very close to home with its portrayal of media and its media's portrayal of a group, of a subgroup of a group. White Fang used to be a pacifist group. Well, they aren't anymore. Until your company started exploiting the powerless, I can very easily see that being the case. Um, yeah, it's just it seems like the tensions between the Schnee company and the Faunus are like a self-propelling cycle, right? The company is exploiting the Faunus, so the Faunus are counterattacking, so the company hires mercenaries, so the Faunus are counterattacking more, so the company fortifies their I don't know, production lines or whatever. So the Faunus are resorting to subterfuge and maybe terrorism. So the company starts, I don't know, lobbying the government to solve the issue of the Faunus, and it's a self-propelling cycle. Someone's gonna have to break it. Who's it gonna be? I don't know. Could be Weiss, could be Blake, could be both, could be neither. That would actually be a very interesting thing to see. Something that's actually beyond the reach of our main characters, something that they genuinely cannot fix. Because it's, right now, beyond their reach. Maybe when Weiss actually inherits the company, she's gonna be able to solve those issues, but not now. That would be very interesting, and it reminds me of how Symphogear did. What's her face? Starts with C, not Claire. The little witch in GX, right? Hibiki was always believing that, oh, if only we just talk with each other and we'll be able to understand each other, we'll be able to solve our differences. Well, problem is the little witch doesn't want to fucking talk. So we can't talk her down if she doesn't want to listen. And that's a very cool subversion in Simple Gear of the usual we can just talk it out, just talk no jutsu our way out of the crisis. And it worked in like the first season, a little bit even in the second season, but in the third season, just not possible. Because they're fighting automatons and someone who can't who doesn't want to talk. So you can't talk. You can't use talk no jutsu. And it would be also a very interesting subversion in a RWBY if some things were simply completely out of the control of the protagonists. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We just got up on the wrong foot. Yeah. We're all bacon students. Wanna go shopping? No, I don't wanna go shopping. I wanna sit there in peace and I want to pair up with only the best students. Because I deserve it. Because I'm the rich Ojo-sama lady. That's the vibe I'm getting from Weiss right now, but there is more to her, and we very, very soon can see that. Your true worth of your training will be evaluated. Make your way to the temple. If you don't, your life is forfeit. That's quite a bit of stakes for something that's just an admission process to a school. You either pass the test or you just get fucking unlived. Interesting. There's plenty of students here, but it seems like only our main 8 actually got into the school. I don't know, I'm not sure. Partner with the first person you make eye contact with. 2 pairs will combine to form a 4-person team. Exactly. This will be your teammates for the years of your study. Several relics. Oh, right, yeah, there are other groups that also completed the test because when they arrived at the temple, some relics were already missing. Okay, I stand corrected. You must make it through on your own. Yeah, the people who are just grabbing the mass-produced weapons from the lockers are getting shafted. Like, completely and utterly shafted. They don't have any sort of armor. Their weapons are just melee weapons. It's just a sword, it's just an axe. It doesn't seem like it has a cool gun built into it, or a rope, or, anything. Those weapons don't look like they can transform. They really are getting shafted. She has a collapsible spear, it would seem, that can also turn into a hunting rifle. That's very cool. I would get top grades and be set for the future. No, you're stuck with the team of old bulls, Weiss. That's how it goes. So that was your type? No. No, she was just making an example. She was just... There's exactly one brain cell in his head, isn't there? And yes, we form teams in the forest, indeed, by chance. You don't pre-form a team. She graduated top class Sanctum, won the tournaments, and she's on the front of Pumpkin Pete's Marshmallow Flakes box. That's her biggest achievement in life. And they already found connection over cornflakes, pumpkin flakes, whatever. Yang Xiao Long, Ruby Rose, Jean Arc, Weiss Schnee. Sorry, but when I read Weiss Schnee, I can't get out of my mind Schneebly from the School of Rock, the character of Schneebly. That's my first thing that comes to my mind when I see Schnee. It's Schneebly. Maybe they're the same family. Who knows? Maybe her father is fucking Jack Black in disguise. Launchers. And off they go. What kinds of teams will get this year? And some mysterious arrival. Very pale, grey hair, cool costume. Test may become dangerous. Of course it might. Of course it may become dangerous. It's an anime test. It always goes tits up. There's always suddenly a dragon, suddenly an enemy army, suddenly a demon raises from hell, suddenly a stampede of monsters, suddenly this, suddenly that. It's always the case. It really is always the case. A future huntsman should be able to overcome any difficulty. I guess, kinda. Okay. Let's see. She shot the rock. And I don't know how this was supposed to help her break her fall. I really don't get it. If she shot the rock like from up close, you could see that maybe the recoil would blast her away. Or maybe like the shockwave from the explosion could cushion her fall. But you don't really see that. You don't really see that like shockwave or anything. It just looks very, very odd. And RWBY actually uses recoil to slow herself down. A little bit of recoil and a little bit of an extended tumble, I guess you could say. And it's cool. And she strikes a cool pose. And this dude just gets speared by Pyrrha. But Pyrrha is nowhere to be seen, which is very interesting. Why'd she just throw her spear and not retrieve it? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm gonna be honest, I don't get it. Yeah, they arrived here, but Pyrrha is nowhere to be seen. And also he's no longer speared by the... He's no longer nailed to the tree by the tip of the spear. He's now, like, past the blade. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm just being picky. As long as I can get on Pyrrha's team, I guess. Grimovision. That's kind of weird because the Grim doesn't attack. You see the spear being retrieved and there's this ominous music. The ominous sound. And you see a black hand raised up. Oh, what's it gonna be? Is it like a human-like Grim, an anthropomorphic Grim, and it got Pyrrha's spear, or maybe it was able to copy Pyrrha's spear. Maybe it's a mimic of some sort, or maybe Pyrrha is evil because there's this ominous music in the background, and there's a shadow, and no, it's just Pyrrha, and she's not evil or anything. And there's the ominous music and some bushes are ruffled. Why? Why have the ominous music there? I don't know. I've no clue. She uses her not apparition. I'm gonna keep calling it apparition. Sorry. Semblance. Semblance of sanity. Quit showing off. I guess semblance is something unique, something rare. Not everybody can use it because Weiss seems very perplexed at seeing RWBY use it, and I haven't seen anybody else have a semblance. Interesting. Of course, yeah, our protagonist has to be special in some way, but I'd be interested to know more about the semblance. What the fuck even is it? Yeah, I guess they're gonna explain it over the course of this series. So don't tell me about it in the comments. Unless we're like halfway through the season and they still haven't explained it, then sure, I'm gonna be willing to listen. But as of yet, I'm gonna consider it a spoiler if you explain things to me. So I'd rather you don't. She skipped ahead. I love me a good brawler, and I love me some good mechanical design. And they really did a pretty good job at marrying a CG weapon. Or is it CG? I'm not clear on that. Kinda looks CG, but kinda looks drawn. Also, her left gauntlet transforms differently from her right gauntlet. Right, the band with red stripes on her left gauntlet, it gains an additional stripe. And on her right gauntlet, it remains the same. There's no this like front stripe. It's a bit of a mistake, isn't it? That's a bit of a mistake. It's a bit of an animation error. And here both of the gauntlets have the additional stripe. And as I mentioned time and again, I fucking love the brawler archetype. That's why I love Hibiki, and I hope she never gets to use her Gungnir spear. I know it might be cruel because she really wants her armed gear, but she rather use her fists. And they already make a good team. And they don't, because there's zero communication and because RWBY wants to rush straight into danger, rush straight for combat. Because, of course, because she's the hot-headed protagonist. It's your fault that I set the forest on fire. Well, you can also put it out, so I don't know what you're on about. I won't be your partner, I'll do it myself. You can't. Them's the rules. And you have a temper, of course she does. Because she is the protagonist. You're so arrogant, you think you're perfect, don't you? No, I'm not perfect. Well, you behave an awful lot like you are, though. She really does behave like a spoiled child, like a spoiled princess. I want to team up with Pyrrha! And I want to team up with Pyrrha now! No, I'm not gonna team up with you! I want Pyrrha! I want this cereal box lady to be with me! It really does feel a little bit like that. But again, I recognize that there surely is some more depth to her character. How about the cute pony? Sure. And here's another bit of imaginative combat. A Warhammer. And she's been riding the bear, or the Ursa beast, or however you called it. However they called it. Ursa. Okay, just Ursa. Gotcha. They got a castle. I still don't know what Ren's weapons are, besides like being dual SMGs. I don't know what their melee form is. Like double axes, maybe? Something like that? I'm not sure. We're gonna see that in due time. A big Grim attacks. And a second big Grim attacks. And I love her shield. And I love her bracers. And I love her spear. I really like Pyrrha. I really do. I like her design in every single way that I can like a design, honestly. Finally found you, Pyrrha. Well, you're not gonna get into her pants, so you forget about it, because the teams have already been decided. This is some hideout, apparently. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I guess we're gonna learn that in the future. This shot, though. They're running in place. Okay, I guess his weapons are like dual machetes or something like that, or dual kukris. How do you fuck up a shot of characters running? How do you fuck up this kind of a shot? You just move the background at a slightly different pace than the characters. How do you fuck it up? They're just running in place. How do you fuck it up? I expected more from Shaft, but I guess Shaft shafted us on the quality of the show. Grenade launcher, I love it. I love how the grenades are also like have a little heart at the tip, and this impact frame is cool. Yeah, those impact frames are really cool. A little heart grenade. Doesn't do much. Hunting rifle, again, very cool muzzle flash. Very cool muzzle flash. I don't see the spear in her gun, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how it folds up, but I don't mind it. Her shield is just a little bit too big though. Doesn't matter. Ultimately, it doesn't matter all that much. And they're running to hide somewhere. Of course, the bridge is collapsing. Oh, it's the scabbard. It's the scabbard that transforms into a shield. Oh, that's cool. That's genuinely cool. I don't know if he has a gun, but the fact that the scabbard turns into a shield, that alone is cool. Those are double SMGs with some blades. Okay, cool. Blake doing whatever the fuck Blake's doing. Bit of a tail. And this is cool. Nailing a spike through. Reminds me of Arifureta. When Hajime used the PAL driver on. I don't think it was on Tio. On someone else. He's the PAL driver, and the bunny girl, whose name I forgot, used her hammer to nail the nail from the pile driver deeper in. I really like combo attacks like that. A spear and a hammer, that's super cool. That's what I meant by imaginative combat, imaginative attacks, imaginative weapons, and imaginative use of those weapons. Like using a spear as a nail and using a hammer like as a hammer. That's cool. That's just plain old cool. A slingshot. How does it catch the scythe? It really doesn't, and it phases through Ruby's cloak, and it phases through her. It phases through her scythe, and it phases through her cloak. How do you fuck that up? And I guess Weiss can freeze things in time, not only freeze them literally. Kind of sort of deal. Interesting. And they're talking, and meanwhile the bird is struggling. And if they weren't talking this much, the bird would still be trapped, but they decided they need to talk. This is cool though. This is really cool. Weiss created that slide up, and Ruby is using the knockback from the shots of her scythe to propel herself upwards along this icy slide. Yeah, this is cool. This is really cool. I'm always a fan of explosions used for propulsion. Jets, sure, that's cool and all, but explosions, that's great. And beheaded. Just like that. Let me see that impact frame. That's a cool impact frame. That's a cool couple of impact frames even. This one's cool though. This one's really cool. And beheaded and a lot of red kind of blood, kind of the petals that are always accompanying RWBY. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. And she strikes a pose, does a little bit of an animation, twirling her scythe. There's the petals. Strikes a pose. And I thought for a moment it's animated at 24 FPS, but I don't think it is. Okay, it's animated at mixed FPS. There's like a little bit of a moment that's animated at 24. Yeah, this was like 1, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, it's cool. And this is cool. A little bit of shading, cool shading, color, flowing hair. And this scene of fist being raised, some really cool animation on that. Flowing hair, golden bracers. Weiss standing up, again, flowing hair, flowing earrings. Her face looks kind of wonky, not gonna lie, but besides that, it's cool. And see, that's what I meant also during episode 1, that it's a very uneven show. Because on one hand, you have little moments like this, right? Some cool piece of animation, some cool art. It seems they've already found a hiding place. I have no clue what it means. Right? At moments you have really cool scenes like that. And then you're back to not great things. Not great looks. You're back to that running scene. And it's really, really uneven. Jean Arc, Piranikos, Liren, and Nora Valkyrie. Nora Valkyrie, okay, interesting that she'd be themed after a Valkyrie, because she has absolutely nothing from a Valkyrie. Yeah. Not a single thing thematically fits a Valkyrie. Not even like a pair of wings or anything like that. Not even like a wing hair clip or anything. Everybody's been themed after the thing they're themed at very clearly, but she's not. Nora isn't themed after anything Norse, really. Yeah. Team Juniper, and he, for some reason, is the leader. I don't know why, but hey, many shenanigans are to be had because of that, I'm sure. Ruby Rose, Weiss Schnee, Blake Belladonna, and Yang Xiao Long, or however you pronounce it, Team RWBY. Led by Ruby Rose. That's again a very interesting choice, but not an unexpected one. That's for sure. This is interesting though. This little bit of like corruption growing on her neck. I have no clue what it is, and okay, yeah. And it looks different between shots. And I have no clue where it came from. It's really completely out of nowhere. You'd think that during combat, she'd be like, ah, my neck. Some shrapnel hit my neck, or oh no, the scorpion hit me, but no, I'm fine, I'm okay. Right? You know, something like that. But no, it's just there, out of nowhere, and the next episode is probably gonna be themed around that. Maybe she's gonna start turning into a Grim. Maybe she's gonna be very sick. Maybe she's gonna need some magical cure that exists only in the magical forest and is guarded by 7 Grims. And you have to defeat all of them to get the cure, or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. The ED is cool. ED is, oddly enough, much more vibrant than the OP. Go figure. Chapter 3, A Nightmare Comes, and another cool piece of art. Team RWBY eating tomato poke. Tomato RWBY, it seems. That's what's written on the package. And RWBY is spilling all of it. That's a really cool illustration. Okay, that's it. That was episode 2 of RWBY Ice Queendom. What can I say to not reiterate the things that I've already said? I don't think there's much to be said besides reiterating what I've already said before, besides a quick summary. Great imagination, very imaginative fights, very imaginative weapons. I'm all for that because weapons in particular and fights in anime, in manga, in light novels are pretty fucking stale. Let's be honest here. It's usually fireball, sword, fireball, sword, fireball, sword, god slaying beam of light from the heavens of wrath of Kingdom of Amalur, and the army gets annihilated, right? It's either this or swords just clink, clink, clanking against each other, and it gets really boring, I'll be honest. In here, we're getting some actually really cool use for weapons and really cool weapons themselves. Even a very, like, bland weapons, like a sword, are all have just a little bit of a spin on them. Because sure, Jean Arc uses a sword, but the scabbard turns into a shield, and that's cool. That's enough to make the sword no longer so bland. Perfect. Still, it's the series is very much plagued by very uneven quality. As I mentioned during our discussion, the combat scenes, the action scenes are cool. They very much are. Not at all times. There are some things, some moments, some frames, some cuts, some scenes that are kind of not great. But besides those really cool action scenes, we have not so cool scenes that sometimes are at least decent. Most of the time they are at least decent. But then we have scenes like that running in place, and it's just why? Like literally why? You fucking up a running scene where you don't even see the character's legs make contact with the ground, right? Because if character legs make contact with ground, you have the added need of having to synchronize how the ground moves with their legs, so they're not sliding their legs in place, so they're not moonwalking, right? But you don't see their legs. They're just animated characters overlaid on top of a background. And they fucked it up. You have to, like, consciously do that. You have to want to fuck it up this completely. And it's just very, very weird to me. Because RWBY isn't a small franchise. Well, comparatively to, like, I don't know, Naruto or fucking Jujutsu Kaisen or whatever, it is small, sure. It's also a Western franchise, but and Shaft probably was paid to make this anime. It's not like Shaft decided they want to, if they want to adapt it, they were just paid. They were just hired to make it. But I still expected more. I certainly did not expect a fucked up scene of running. Yeah, it's a very ambivalent show because sometimes you have really cool scenes with some really cool contrast and shading and animation and flowing hair and whatnot. And then you get some off model fucked up face on CG background with cape phasing through their arm and a weapon just not being there or something, right? There's very grating and seemingly very easy to spot errors. Was there no QA on it? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna continue watching it. Like, don't get me wrong. Again, as I said, if I want to watch something beautiful, I have Yofka Uta for that. RWBY, the main drive for me is the cool fight scenes. It's the imaginative weapons and their use. I hope it doesn't get stale. I really hope it doesn't get stale because even if you have the most imaginative weapons, the weapons that are the most out there, if you continue using the imaginative attacks over and over and over and over again, they too will get stale. I hope that doesn't happen. And my main drive, I think, is still the world and just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. What are the Grim? What are the crystals? What is the dust? What's the not apparition? Semblance. What is the semblance, right? The characters, they also have a lot of potential to them. I want to watch them grow. I want to see Weiss becoming disillusioned with her father's company. I want to see Blake go against the White Fang, like fully, not by just running away, but facing them. Uh, I want to see those moments. I want to see those moments. I want to know more. I want to see more. And even if the art isn't great, even if the animation isn't great, I mean, shit, I've seen Overlord Season 3. And we all know how Overlord Season 3 looked. And I liked it because the stories and the characters and the world were cool. So I'm gonna see RWBY. I'm gonna watch it to completion, and I'm gonna continue watching it in as soon as next week because right now it's the end of episode 2, and the next week we have episode 3 ahead of us. But right now, I think that's gonna be it from me. So you guys, you tell me down in the comments, what did you think of this episode, of my reaction, of my theories? Don't spoil me anything, please, I beg of you. If you want to talk spoilers, Discord here in the description, also link. You can join it, you can join the RWBY channel and talk spoilers there by using spoiler tags. Uh, does the unevenness of this show bother you as much as it bothers me? I don't know. I want to hear that. I want to hear about that because maybe I'm just alone in it. Maybe it genuinely doesn't bother anybody else, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Talk to me about it. Tell me about it. Have a discussion in the comments. Why not? Like this video if you liked it, disliked it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases, not only of RWBY, but also of Yofka no Uta, which is a beautiful show, so I highly recommend watching it. Of Overlord Season 4, which seems to be much better done than Season 3. Of Hataraku Mao-sama Season 2 that still haven't started yet, which is odd. Of Symphogear GX that I'm releasing every Saturday, and of Review Starlight. I streamed the recap movie yesterday, so or the day before. Something around that, depends on your time zone, I guess. We still have the sequel movie to watch, so you might want to stay subscribed for that and for whatever is to come after I'm done with review, because another non-seasonal will be coming. You can support the channel monetarily on Patreon or Throne, links in the description. Throne works by you essentially pitching in towards some gifts, right? For example, I want a brand new camera, and you can throw me $5 towards the purchase of that camera, and I'm gonna use those $5 to buy that very camera. And on Patreon, of course, you can support me as well monthly. For $10 a month, you get early access to non-seasonals like Symphogear, like Review Starlight, like whatever is replacing Review Starlight. For $5, you get to vote in the polls, like a poll for what's to replace Review Starlight. Maybe Madoka Magica, maybe something else. I don't know. There's gonna be a few propositions from me. And for just a single dollar, you get a role on the Discord right here, and you also get a place in the credits that will be rolling shortly. And if you just don't want to spend any money and still want to support my efforts, you can do that as well by sharing my content, spreading the word, because the word of mouth and recommendations of other people really do matter a lot for the growth of a channel. Many subscribers to my channel, many views I'm getting I have a sneaking suspicion from some of the people from my Discord spreading the word, sharing my content during like a rewatch, Symphogear rewatch on Reddit. They're recommending my series, so that's cool, and I'm gonna be forever grateful to them for that. Join the Discord, as I mentioned, it's open to everybody. You don't need to be a Patreon supporter or anything. You're free to join it as it is. And yeah, with all of that shilled, that needed to be shilled, I can finally finish it. So that's gonna be it from me for today. And as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the credits I mentioned. You can help expand this list, or you can start another at a different tier.